Welcome back. Now, we all have a good grasp on how we can specify arguments to our console agent to start it, but this is not the way that you should use it in production. For production, we have the systemd service, which we have already seen. So if we issue the systemctl status console, you will see that this is currently disabled and not running. So what we will do is to create our configuration file. So if we check the console.hcl file, it's full of comments and stuff that we don't really need. So what I will do is to move it to the console.hcl.back, and then what we will do is to create our configuration file. So we need the IP address of this machine. This is the CentOS 9, which is going to be our master. So console.hcl is going to be the file. And what we have to do is to specify a data directory, which is going to be the etc console.d data. And then we have the start join, and this is going to be the IP address of our machine. And then we are going to have the bind addr, which is going to be the same. So technically, this is going to be our machine, and that's not all. So basically, what we have to do is to specify that this is going to behave as a server. So the server is true. And we have the bootstrap expect, which is going to tell the master how many clients I want to join to my infrastructure. So currently it is expecting 1. And we can specify the node name, which is going to be CentOS 9, and the let's call this let's restructure it. So this is going to be 0.0.0. This is going to be the client addr. And the data dir we have defined. And we also have to say that we want the UI to be available over the web. And after that, let's define our data center, which is going to be ReaperPie. And what else do we have here? I think this should work. Let's give it a try. So I have said that there is going to be a data directory here. So I have to make sure that it is created. And if we issue the ls-l, you will see that the new file I have created is owned by root, and the data directory is also owned by root. So let's change that. chown-r console./star. And this is going to make sure that the permission of everything inside this folder has changed. So now we should be able to start our console service. And once it starts, hopefully, we should be able to inspect the logs. that are produced by the service. So systemctl status console. And as you can see, this service is running. And yeah, we don't have autopilot. Oh, one thing. So console.hcl and disable remote exec is false. So let's save it. And systemctl enable console. And now we should start it. So if everything goes well, we should be able to refresh our browser page. And under the overview, you will see that the CentOS 9 machine is up and alive. And if we check the status of the console service, you will see that it's working. And the data center has the appropriate name as well. And these are working. So the next thing is to create it for the Debian machine. So we navigate under the etc console.d and we create the data directory and move the console.hcl to the console.hcl.back. And after that, we are going to create our console.hcl file. Oh, and we are not going to use VI, but we are going to use nano. So now, if I read out the console.hcl, we have the opportunity to repurpose most of these. So technically, we have to change the bind address. Yes, and the IP addr show is going to give us the Debian's IP address. So now if we go here and simply create the following one. So the name of the server is going to be Debian 12, and we don't need the bootstrap exec, and this is not going to be a server, but rather a client. And if we save it and use the chown-r console./star, then we should be able to use the systemctl start console. And if the service starts, we are going to enable it. So now we have the node and systemctl status console. Error. Maybe. Oh, so that was a rookie mistake. So if we check out the history of the commands, the bind address is going to be the one that we defined properly, but the join address, so start join, is going to be the IP address of the CentOS 9 machine, which is going to be 10.211.55.6. So let's try and start it once again. So, aha, we have the Debian 12 machine up and available. So, systemctl status console, and it is running and running good. All right, so systemctl enable console, and now we should be able to use the console exec on the node Debian 12, and we execute the who am I. And as you can see, connection refused. Finished exit code. Okay, that was just an intermittent issue. So technically, now if we restart the virtual machines, we will be able to see our machines. What else do I have here in my notes? So we have the clients and let's take a look at something as well. So in console, we have services, and these services are basically at the cornerstone of the functionality of console. So we have to be able to define a service and monitor a service. So the most basic service that we could define is basically going to look like this. Let's create a directory called services and create a basic web.json. And this is going to be a JSON file, and this service is going to be defined the following way. It will have a name, which is called web, and it is going to have a port, which is port 80. That's the standard web service port. And now if we chmod the chown the web.json, so console web.json, then we should be able to issue the console reload command. And we also have the console service, and this console service is going to allow us to basically manage the services. So console services, and we should be able to register and add web.json. So no such file, or hold on, chown console services, and we specified -r, and for the register we have some arguments, and in these arguments we should be able to find the appropriate one. So console services tag, no tag. Let's do it. Console services register web.json. And as you can see, the JSON web service was registered. So if we go here under the services, you will see that this web service is registered. However, it doesn't have like a backend. It's just the service definition itself. And under the nodes, you will see in the Debian 12 that it still has only one service. So that's one way to register a service, and the Consul services has the deregister web and .json. So that's going to remove the service. And that was all I wanted to show you. See you in the next one.